Kenny Miller has used the term spoiled, and so has Fog Football once or twice before, as Brendan Rodgers wants to create a siege mentality at Celtic Football Club. Welcome back to Fog Football, welcome back to the channel. I'm a bit under the weather, but that doesn't stop the videos, that doesn't stop the content getting fired out, because of course it was a pretty chaotic weekend slash week, whatever, with controversial decisions galore. But Kerry Miller comes out and believes that Celtic fans have been spoiled over the years, but Brendan Rodgers may finally have a real challenge on their hand. Of course, he's talking about Rangers. Now, he was speaking on Scoreboard. There was a few people that phoned in the Scoreboard saying that Celtic fans are spoiled, and that was, I mean, their own fans saying that. I mean, we've talked about this before, to be honest, and I think it's right. I think have been spoiled, to be perfectly honest, and this is what Kenny Miller had to say. He said, I do think Celtic fans have kind of been spoiled over the years for the success of the league titles, cups, trebles, etc. Now they've got a real challenge, and they need to live up to that, stand up to it, and try to continue to deliver success. They've now got a rival with a man in charge that are chasing them, but there is that siege mentality you feel Brendan might be trying to create, but it has to come from within. In Glasgow, unfortunately, there's normally someone is getting it in the net and someone being praised, even though results against Celtic have been doing well. Well, suggest, sorry. They've been on the receiving end of the negative side of the Glasgow at the moment. End of quote there for Kenny Miller. Yeah, I mean, I think because Clement's clawed the gap back, that's why he's been on the negative end. But, you know, you had Brendan Rodgers yesterday coming out, after the game against St Mirren, but we talked about it yesterday, like almost greeting about, there's a negative narrative against Celtic. Yeah, but as Miller says here, and you know, most of it is Celtic fans, you know, completely overreacting, wanting the board out, you know, sack the Tory board, all that stuff. When in reality, this is like the same board that's delivered the amount of trophies they have over like the past 12 years. So I think Celtic fans just need to accept the fact that you can't dominate football forever. You can have large periods of domination, but you can't dominate it forever. And the reality is, they're not going to be able to. I mean, this season, I think the league is on a knife edge, regardless of what way it goes. But I mean, what do Celtic fans want? Do they want every season to win the league by like 15 points and there be no problems? And in, you know, ideal world, every club, every fan wants that for their club, but it's not realistic. You can't sustain that. So, well, I mean, what I would say, I say you can't sustain that. I think when they were 8 points clear of Michael Beale, and I believe, like, you know, a few games when they played early, it went to 11. Like, realistically, you should have been able to keep Rangers at arm's length this season. But that's Brendan Rodgers' fault, right? You can talk about, well, they didn't strengthen January. Well, yeah, see, since January, right? They've dropped points in, what, the one game against Aberdeen. And in the summer, all of Rodgers' targets were pish, pretty much, and all his signings were pish. I think you've got to blame Brendan Rodgers more than the players. I think he's been utilising players wrong, to be perfectly. I think the only two players he's actually made play better than in previous seasons is Scale and O'Reilly. But what I would say with Scales, he hasn't really been given a chance for Celtic before Rodgers, so you can kind of rule him out. The only player that's playing better under Rodgers than Ange is O'Reilly. That is the truth of it. You know, Kyogo, much worse. Hatate, much worse. Cal McGregor's went for the best midfielder of all time to pretty mediocre this season. Joe Hart's always been a bit shite. Carter Ficker's been really inconsistent with injuries. And Alistair Johnson, who was once, you know, last season, it's like he's better than Tav. This season, no one's going to make that claim. No one in a month of Sundays is going to make that claim. And I think the problem has got to land with Brendan Rodgers. He can cry about the media bringing out these narratives and whatever, but I think it's him. We've always said it in this channel. If Ange was the manager of Celtic, this league, I think, would be virtually wrapped up. And that doesn't take away from what Clement did, because Celtic left the door open for Clement to claw back a gap. You know, not in my wildest dreams did I think it would be like this. You know, it may be the end, like midway through February at this point, but you got to bear in mind, at the end of December, if Rangers won the Old Firm, would have went ahead. So within, like, you know, a 2 month period, Clement managed to claw back that gap. And yeah, since then, since we lost the Old Firm, you know, Celtic dropped points to Aberdeen. Rangers are going to win every game. Looks like they'll probably win on Wednesday. Hopefully by 3, then they'll go top. But, you know, he clawed it back within a short gap. If it was Ange with an 8 point gap, would that have happened? Absolutely not. I think Rangers would have been smoked this season, and the title fight wouldn't have been would have been out of sight. But anyway, guys, I think they're spoiled. and we'll see what goes. I think you've also got to give a lot of credit to Ange because he came in and with a team and sorted it out. Brendan Rodgers inherited that team and he's completely unravelled it.